In the last episode, the clutch plate never arrived in Dubbo, so we had to hightail it.
Taco tells us a boring story about a kid getting arrested.
We once again end up riding at night.
We walk through Inverell and talk about Ewan McGregor's Jar Jar Binks fleshlight.
And that's what happened on that episode.
Go. So we wake up in the morning. I get up on time for once.
For once, he gets up on time.
Well, I was determined because this whole trip you're giving me so much crap about not getting up, and then you always go, oh, Brett, you're mucking around with your panties, you're faffing about. I'm like, I'm not faffing about. It's called securing a load. I'll teach you about it one day. There's a reason why I'm a qualified rigger.
I don't mind that. But if you're going to faff about for an hour, get up an hour earlier. Don't get up an hour late, then faff about for another hour.
All right, you've got me there.
Gotta get out early. Look at that view. It's a full moon tonight. We got to get to Inverell by 9:30, and we got to ride in that, baby.
But then today was a day where I got justice because I come out of the motel. Holiday Inn. I was ready to go. My bags were packed. Everything was loaded. And guess who was faffing around with the lock?
First drama of the day. Kappa's lock stuck on his wheel. Fuck.
Yeah, well, we're playing with the locks that Brett got off Amazon for $4, and the key didn't work, and it was our greatest fear.
Yeah, you're mucking around, and I was like, oh my god, this lock's jammed, it's broken. Secretly, I'm laughing because he's holding us up. I was like, sucked in. How does it feel? You know what I mean? I was loving it. I was really loving it. I was like, man, we're gonna have to get a grinder or something to get this off.
Well, the lock was still on your bike as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So we're mucking around for 15 minutes trying to get this lock off. We're like, the lock's jammed. We're gonna have to call someone.
We're gonna have to get a grinder.
We're gonna have to wake up the old guy, the cranky guy from reception, or who can't figure out a computer. And then we figure out.
This isn't your keys. No.
Well, somehow we'd switch the keys over.
We were using the wrong key. So it had nothing to do with the lock. The lock was fine. It's just me and Kappa are idiots.
Yeah. So today we had to do two things.
Yeah.
We had to ride to Inverell, get Brett's clutch plates fixed.
Yes.
Perfect. Then do a gig that night in Tenterfield.
Yes. So another day where we had to rush and get there before.
Too many things on.
And we're 15 minutes behind because of someone. Anyway.
Yeah, so we take off, we're going towards Inverell. It's beautiful, Brett.
It's beautiful. When we woke up in the morning, it was a little bit foggy, but then the sun, first, we hit a band of sun. It was stunning.
Yeah, and then, you could see the mountains, then you could see this cloud in the valley.
Yeah.
So we're going up over the mountain, then we go into the cloud in the fog. And that was nearly worse than the road than Dubbo. It was freezing cold. We were riding in rain.
Yeah.
And the wind was brutal.
Heading to Inverell now to get Brett's clutch fixed. Really poor visibility. Terrible visibility.
I was like, is this what adventure bike riding is? I was like, can I just have some sun for one day, please? And I was so happy before, and it was like we rode into a rain cloud. It was crap again. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
I was back to hating life again. I was kind of secretly praying you never got your lock off so we could just nap in the hotel for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But then we get out of it.
We get out of it, and it's so great. Then we're back in again.
Wherever Brett and I go, it's wet and we can't see. I think we're cursed.
We get in the cloud, then we go back down into the valley, then we come out. I'm ready to pack it in.
I'm over it.
I'm like, I can't deal with this much rain and this much cold. You know, especially when there's promise of the sun.
I think my phone will be fucked after this.
We get into Inverell.
Inverell, the Sapphire City.
Finally, Vince Strang.
Yes.
Does he have good news or bad news?
So we rock up, we get to his mechanic shop. I loved it straight away because what was the guy's name again? Tommy Two Stroke?
Or something like that.
Yeah, he had a cool nickname or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And the funniest part was he leans over to the bike, he undoes the oil plug, he smells it and goes, yeah, that clutch is cooked straight away. It was like he was like sniffing a fine wine or something.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I can tell. Its clutch is burnt out.
Yeah.
This is how you replace it. It was like he just knew everything about
You
it.
can put different oils in front of him and he's like, yeah,
Dot
yeah.
5, dot 4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd know straight away.
Yeah, the sommelier of oil.
The steel plates should be okay.
Also, I must point out, Tony
Yeah.
is the manager of the biggest DR650 dealer
Yes.
in Australia. It's huge. He's wearing track pants and like a flannelette shirt. Like, I would have thought he was a homeless guy just walking around the shop. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm the manager.
But also, do you expect him to wear a suit? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it's a
yeah,
DR650.
exactly.
I kind of, and also, I had my tracksuit on, you know, so we're both respecting each other.
But then we meet Tone, he's awesome.
Yeah.
But then we get to meet the big boss, the boss of DR650s, the man, the legend, Vince Strang.
Yeah, nicest dude ever. And then we tell him the story that we're doing this ride, because this ride we're also raising money for charity. We're doing a little bit of a fundraiser for the charity Are You Bogged Mate at the time. And he loved the story and he loved that we're helping out country blokes do this thing. So he kind of, I think he pushed our bike a little bit ahead. A few other jobs he had to do that day.
However, you are forgetting one thing, Brett.
Yeah.
The moment we rocked up, Vince roasted us so bad.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem. Take your time.
We're copying it by everyone.
He's like, what are you two young blokes doing on two old motorbikes?
Everyone's roasting us, but I was like, well, the bike's in safe hands.
All right, we've just spoken to Tony here, and he is going to install the new clutch plates for us, and hopefully it's ready by 12. Give it up for Kappa. He did it. He did it.
Yes.
They said it couldn't be done. The great man, Nick Kappa.
And then I said something which got you annoyed again. So he had to take off the clutch plates. And a common problem with a DR650 is the neutral sending pin sometimes gets loose and falls off. And I said, look, Vince, while you're there, while you've got the plates off, can you just have a look at my neutral sending pin just to make sure it's on properly? And if it's not, you know, whack a bit of Loctite in there, get her on. And you get so angry, you're like, Brett, what are you trying to tell? He knows everything about bikes. Just shut the hell
Well,
up.
he doesn't even know where the fuel tap is, right? Doesn't know
I
where-
do know where the fuel tap is,
You
and
know
I know
where
about the
it's-
neutral sending pin. I know about my bike, and I know the problem.
I'm like, shut up, man. Just get the clutch fixed. Don't worry about this.
I was like,
Let's
man,
get
you know
out
what?
of
It's
here.
right there. You can
Also,
see
we're
it.
running out of time.
You can see it, and he goes, look, I know that's a rumour with a DR650, but often it doesn't happen.
I've had 3 of them with about 100,000 Ks. Never bothered even looking at the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah. And then you were angry at me. Everyone was angry at me again. So we go have breakfast.
We have breakfast. There's a bloke doing mainies in a Ford Festiva.
Yeah, he's got
It's
like
just-
subwoofers going at 10 a.m. in the morning.
Ladies, watch out. The Pussymobile is about.
Is it Ford Festiva or some shit?
And like we're having a nice breakfast, and there's a guy on a park bench just eating pizza shapes. He's eating Vegemite pizza shapes for breakfast. I suppose Vegemite is a breakfast
It's like
meal.
9 in the morning.
There's always some weird unit in a country town. Also, there was a court. There must have been a big court case going on because
Well, it was just court day.
it was court day, was it?
Yeah.
Because there was all these blokes who look like me with mullets in suits. So I was
Yeah.
like, either a funeral or court. That's the only reason why a guy like me would wear a suit.
In the most ill-fitting suits.
Oh.
Like either the sleeves were too big or they were too small. It was just some mullet guy smoking.
Yeah.
With a suit that looked like he borrowed off his dad.
Yeah, like when you wear your dad's outfits all
Far
loose with the
out,
big
man.
shoes or whatever.
It was so good.
So-
one flap of shirt tucked in. It was
looked
so
like a
good.
nightmare.
My dad rocked up.
Thank God. Mate, the king is here. We're in safe hands. If we have any more troubles, we know your dad can get us out of that situation, so I was stoked.
Also, I was partly not as stressed now because one of my goals with this trip was just to have a good ride with my family.
Yep.
You know, don't like last time when we rode on the Border Bunch, my dad put his bike in the river within the first 15 minutes.
Oh, did he?
Remember the Golden Sump?
That's right.
The Golden Sump.
Yeah.
The Golden Sump is an award we give out at the end of each of our Border Bunch trips. We'll explain it in more detail later on.
So he put it in the river within 15 minutes and couldn't ride with us. Had to sit in the car. I felt so bad for him. So I was like, look, if all three of us just do the trip together, it's good.
It's going to be perfect.
You know, Brett can break down. Before we went to the mechanic shop, I thought I better ring the lady we're doing the gig for in Tenterfield to just make sure
Yeah.
that everything is fine for the
Yes.
gig that night. I hadn't called her in about 3 weeks.
Now, normally, when we go on trips, I'm the organiser. Nick is my lackey. He's just there for a good time, you know?
Yeah.
So I normally organise everything, hotels, and he goes, Brett, this trip, I don't want you to worry about anything. You just focus on your riding. I'll organise the gigs, the hotels, I'll do everything. I was a little bit nervous, and then I was even more nervous after this phone call.
I got the phone call and they said, well, the good news is it's sold out.
Great.
Can't believe it. We're in double digits again.
Love that.
I said, oh, great. So, yeah, is there anything you want us to do before it? Do we just rock up and then we just talk into the microphone and whatever? She's like, oh, there's no microphone. I was like, oh, really? Is there a stage? And she's like, no, there's no stage. And I'm like, so that means we've got no lights as well?
When you ring and organise a gig, you should know that no venue has this stuff. You're meant to bring that and organise that stuff. And if not, you're meant to let them know that we need to hire this stuff. And of course you haven't done it. And then you start ringing around frantically, trying to organise staging, lights, microphones, and you can't even, it's like you've never even had a conversation before.
Yeah, so we don't even need any instruments or anything. You just need to talk through a stick, and then that's it, mate. Yeah. It's really simple. Yeah.
Well, I did have to explain it to people. I was like, can I get a microphone? And they're like, what, do you want, a microphone or a speaker? And I'm like, no, the stick you talk into. Like, it basically came down to that.
It looked like there was two cavemen on the phone trying to explain fire to each other.
I was ringing every place in the big city of Tenterfield to see if they had amps. I'm lying. I'm saying our speaker blew up, everything like that. Anyway, I go, look, it's an emergency. However, the gig's at 7. I'll get there at 3. I'll find something. Don't you worry about that.
And then I was like, well, he's stuffed up this gig, hasn't booked it properly with the equipment. I'll just double check. I said, Nick, I know you said you promised you've booked the hotel. Have you booked the hotel? And you go, nah, I forgot.
Yeah.
And I was like, back to seeing Blind Rage. But we got the phone call. The bike was ready. So we head down to the bike shop and we get there and the guys show us the clutch plates. I got the little notches all over and it's just fucking smooth as a baby's bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you ask him if he wants to buy another set? Oh,
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Jesus.
And then the best part of the trip happened. Vince comes up and goes, hey Brett, you were right about the neutral sending pin. It was loose. And I didn't say anything to Nick, but God, I was smiling in your face. I was smiling in your face. I loved it.
Even Vince had egg on his face. We all had egg on our. We couldn't believe it.
Don't say anything about Vince. We love you. You love you. You're the king. You're the king, you know?
So everything was fine. Brett's clutch was fixed. We were all together.
Yep.
We were ready to get to Tenterfield to do the gig.
I'm excited.
And then I get a call from Dubbo, the motorbike shop in Dubbo, and they said the clutch plates had arrived. And I have not answered my phone from that number since.
So we start riding.
My dad's with us now. Brett's got his bike fixed. Hopefully everything goes okay. How's you feel, mate? All right?
Feels real good, nice and clean. It's just, obviously it's a new clutch and it feels like a new clutch. Used to struggle to get from second and first, sometimes to be real crunchy, and now it's just fucking like a lubed up dick straight in.
I'm excited. I'm with the boys. I'm riding. I feel like I'm part of the family. We get off to the off-road tracks.
Beautiful country.
This was the first time I think you guys started racing, because you really started to hit the pin when we're off-road, and I was struggling to keep up. And I'm still a bit cautious on gravel, but I was trying to prove a point. I wanted to keep up with you guys. I didn't want to look like had no idea what I was doing, even though I clearly didn't.
Good bit of fun.
Now we're going from Inverell to Emerville. This was a real baptism of fire for Brett. It's a technical bit of track.
Yep.
And I've fallen off here myself. So we're going around, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to take it pretty chill. I'm going to go behind Brett for a bit.
Yep.
Just make sure he's fine, you know? Because if I was going ahead, I'd know you'd try and keep up.
Yes.
So
if I'm the last person behind, I'm going to try and race and catch up. I've always got a point to prove, even though classic me is in sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but I just go 110% into it and pray for the best.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not a good idea.
And I'm seeing him crack already, you know? Like, he's so confident, you know? Like, but the whole reason we started Flat Stick, our podcast, the whole reason we did this ride is one day I decided I wanted to jump over fire on some BMXs, and Brett obliged, rose to the occasion. And I thought, this is the guy. But then I realised maybe Brett was more scared than I thought.
I was in a constant state of fear. Like, I'm happy to go 110% on anything, but I can only kind of do it within my skill level, and I was still a bit outside of it. So I was uncomfortable, but I didn't want to, I was like, oh, I feel okay on the road. I'm going okay on the road, and I was trying to keep up with your brother or your dad, and this bit of road was so crazy. It was so windy, and then I get around a corner, and I turn my GoPro on, and all of a sudden now I'm going, I'm trying to keep up. I'm out of my comfort zone, and now I'm like, I'm being recorded.
Yeah.
I can't look like I'm going slow. Right? So I start giving it a bit, and I come around to this corner, and I just wasn't prepared.
I'm following him.
Fuck.
I think I hit the back. I came in too fast. I hit the back brakes, locked it, and I think I must have grabbed the front. I'm still not sure, but either way, I went over the top of the handlebars. The bike ended up on me, and I wasn't in a good spot.
You bitch.
No, I'm following him. I see him go down this hill into a corner, and then it's just like one of those real kind of wonky ones where you're just watching him go wonky, and you're like, please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash. And then he just goes over, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest drama in the world. What I've got to do is I've just got to put this fire out before it goes crazy.
You alright, mate? Oh, fuck.
I thought he's going to pull his gloves off, he's going to take his jacket off, everything. He gets down, I check that he's okay, he's all right. So I'm like, mate, just get up, get the bike up.
Get him up for you.
Get the bike up, because I cared about Brett, I did care about him.
Just wheel her off the road a bit, mate.
You what?
I'll just wheel her off the road a bit.
Yeah.
But also, I thought the moment he gets back on that bike and keeps riding, the less of a big deal it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear about it forever.
I know, but
I thought we're going to be here till midnight.
You've even given me so much crap about it since. You're like, oh, I know you're going to make a big deal about it. I was like, yeah, mate, I really busted up my foot. I ruined my boot. I had a hole in my glove. My hand was bleeding. I was like, I just want to chill out for 5 minutes. And classic country Nick, no sympathy, shut up and get back on the bike.
All right, jump back on. Best thing for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I get back on the bike, I start riding, and I'm in the worst mood ever. Like, I'm angry, I don't want to be on this trip, I want to go home. So we keep riding, we're going through it all, and we eventually get off-road, and there's all this beautiful sceneries happening, and I was like, that's it. I'm riding safe. I'm riding safe, because before we went on this trip, Mum and Dad said, don't do anything stupid. You know, you're gonna be fatigued, you're gonna be out all night drinking, you're probably gonna have an accident. I was like, what would you know? And then in my mind, I was like, damn it, Mum and Dad were right the whole time, so I had that anger building up. So we're riding through this beautiful scenery, and I'm not looking at anything. I'm riding at like 40 Ks, and I am just so goddamn angry. Jump on the fucking highway and get the fuck out of here. I'm just in a shit mood, I just want to get home.
My brother and my dad and I, we're having a ball.
Yeah.
We're all together. And it is a very difficult section, and in a way, it got a lot more difficult and a lot more dangerous, and I was happy that Brett fell off. He fell off on a bit that wasn't so dangerous.
Yep.
If you hadn't have fallen off on that bit, I reckon you would have went off a cliff.
I was going to come off at some stage, so I'd rather it there where it's safer as opposed to just never see me again.
Because there was a lot of bits like that.
Yeah. It was a nice day, even though I was having a shit time.
Tenterfield. Once again, we are pushing the limits. The gig starts at 7, and we're meant to only take 2 hours to get from Inverell to Tenterfield, but it looks like it's taken like 3.5. We don't even know why we put a gig on, really. It's just put a whole heap more stress on us, but it's all good.
Hey guys, Benny here. In my role as producer, editor, and comedian tamer on this series, I work with Kappa and Blakey a lot, so I've gotten pretty used to things going wrong. Unfortunately, the file for the following studio segment somehow got damaged. I don't know how, but I think it's pretty likely one of these two idiots spilled beer on a hard drive and never told me. Lucky for you guys, I used a little editor's trick, called paying $200 for upscaling software, to salvage something usable for this episode. In true flatstick fashion, it might not be pretty, but it'll get the job done. I mean, it's a free YouTube series, what do you want from us? Alright, now back to the episode, keep it flatstick.
We get in at 5:30. It's 1.5 hours before the gig. You know, would have been there a lot earlier if Brett didn't crash or have a little hissy fit.
Well, also, we wouldn't need to get there early if someone booked the place properly or organised a sound system. We could really just ride straight on stage.
We got in there, and I thought, oh, the lady's going to be so angry at me. She hasn't even seen my face yet. I walk in, obviously she's kind of angry, she's stressed. We get into the hotel, and then we realise I'm trying to ring everywhere, once again, trying to find a PA.
And you also, my favourite part was you were just lying to everyone on the phone.
That's the story of my great.
Well, we needed 7 o'clock. Sorry, our other one blew up. But we're okay if we can't get it, but we just thought we'd try and get one, that's all.
Piece it together with ancestry.
And I was like, yeah, everything blew up, Nick. Yeah, it's everyone else's fault besides the man who forgets things and is unorganised.
We go to the gig, and Brett's like, okay, we don't have a microphone, we don't have a stage. I'll go get a light. I'm pretty sure I saw a construction worker's light that we could at least use. It was this beautiful little courtyard, so nice.
The venue was stunning, and I saw this construction light that they had in their office there, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go see them and see if I can borrow the construction light. You know, make the best of a bad situation. Yes. I was like, at least if we have a light, people can see us. I'm loud as hell, so people are going to be able to hear me regardless. So I go to reception, I speak to the lady, I said, you know, have you got a work light or something like that we could possibly use for the gig next door? And she goes, oh yeah, I've got a light. And then she takes us out to this back room, and I see a proper stage light, like I'm talking T-bar with 4 lights on it. I was like, what are the odds that this has just happened? And then as a joke, I said, oh, you wouldn't by chance happen to have a PA and a mic by any chance? And she goes, yeah, I actually do. I could not believe it.
Brett is gone for ages.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if he's going to the toilet again, or faffing about with his little straps, or whatever, or putting a jacket on and take it back off again, or putting his, whatever he's doing, I'm going to kill him. Like, when the gig is happening.
Oh, you're stressed out.
Yeah, I was like, come on.
Stressed about the gig?
Where is he?
So I get back to the bar, and Nick's walking around in a huff, all angry at me, going like, and I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I know what I've done.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nick, you wouldn't believe what I found. We've got a light, we've got a PA, we've got a mic. It cost us $50. We are ready to go. And you were so happy. You were like, see, I told you it would work out. I was like, no, you are not claiming this. This only happened because I did it.
I told you it would work out.
Oh my God.
You had no faith in me.
I don't have any faith in you.
I've landed on my feet again.
Yeah. This is why me and your girlfriend get frustrated at you, because you end up in these awful situations and then someone else solves it and you're like, see, I'm still the king. And you're dancing around like an idiot. I wanted to punch you.
Nick Capper didn't organise speakers or lights and fell on his feet again. The lady at the hotel just happened to have both. God, this annoys me when you just fall on your feet. It shits me to tears because it encourages you to keep being a shit beat.
Right again.
You're not right. I solved it.
Do we have a PA here?
You're not claiming this one at all, mate.
Yeah, boys, their egg on your face. Look at this, baby.
The show started. It's sold out. It's mostly old people.
Yes.
Elderly people.
Boomers.
Yeah. And so we're like, oh my God. I decided I've got to MC it. I've got them warm, but there's that crack. You got to feel that crack where you've broken them.
Yes.
Before you bring on your first act. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna keep it pretty clean, but I'll just test the waters. And I did this anal sex joke about sticking a candy cane up your ass, and it went off.
It leveled the room. I was more nervous than Nick. I was like, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And they have never laughed harder. And then we're like, oh, well, it's open season now. This is what these guys want.
Aiden says the C word, nearly gets a standing ovation. And then it becomes the filthiest comedy show to probably ever exist.
Yeah.
They were loving it more and more. My parents are in the crowd. For some reason, everyone was just loving it. I was riding that day and I got a big bug stuck in my eye.
Yeah.
And my eye was like bright red and I got the sniffles. So I thought I had COVID. I thought I've got COVID. Like, definitely. Like, I looked ruined, didn't I?
Yeah, you didn't look good, but the best part was we found the light and the microphone, and then it was like you've never done a comedy gig before because you were holding the microphone, but you weren't even holding it close to your mouth, and we were like, put the mic near your mouth, Nick. So that I went to all this effort to find the microphone and speaker, and you don't even have your mouth near it. And I said to your dad, I was like, he's your son, remember that.
What's going on with Dallas?
How's it going, Nick? Good, except I got something stuck in my eye.
Where is he? Where's Dad?
It's really good. I was like, this could have been a disaster.
So, we went to bed. It was a great day. And we had to get up the next day to meet with the Border Bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Legends. Along the ride, we raised some cash for Are You Bogged, Mate, which is a men's mental health charity for blokes in the country. If you got some spare coin, jump on their website and donate. On the next episode, we meet up with a Border Bunch.
Stewie takes us on some gnarly trails, and one of us has another stack.
We are treated to the hospitality of the beautiful town of Ybor.
Brett blows his load over a washing machine.
Ybor officially runs out of rum and cokes, and Kappa drinks the bar dry of shandies.
I don't mind a little shandy. Find out next time on The Wrong Way Round.